I'm a little excited because today we're going into the strange shit show that is Paul Krugman's Twitter. Now, anyone who knows anything about politics or is a liberal that's anti-Hillary or who cares about railing against neoliberals all know who Paul Krugman is. The sad story of Paul Krugman, who's a very smart guy, turned Hillary shill. And we're going to go into why that happens in this video. But his tweets after the election, I hadn't seen them until now, but he's basically been on a non-stop Twitter storm of denial because he was one of the people that thought that Hillary's definitely going to win. He famously said that there's nothing wrong with Hillary. He's one of those that thinks that the WikiLeaks are all bullshit. He either hasn't read them or doesn't care, much like Amy Schumer. But let's see this tweet, Paul. Let's get our little nibble. There's a lot of angry back and forth about how this happened, meaning the Trump presidency. And I understand the motivation, but it's an argument that nobody will win. I challenge you to that, Paul. I think I will win, and you will lose. Because you are in your own neoliberal bubble where you don't understand why Clinton really lost. And we're going to get to his tweets later, but for all you guys that don't know who Paul Krugman is, he's really not the worst person in the world. This is him on a round table with George Stephanopoulos, who we made fun of the other day for being a horrible insider who knows nothing. He laughed in the face of Keith Ellison, who said that Trump could win the nomination when Trump was winning in all the polls. People were still laughing when people like me said Trump has a real chance of winning. When the polls were Hillary was up by a statistically insignificant amount. 2 points, that's nothing. It's insignificant. All these people thought, ha 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 ha, no, never going to happen. So Paul Krugman is known for basically being a smart economist, someone who actually uses common sense in their approach to economics. This isn't super weird if you understand how money works. He's a Keynesian, so if you don't know what that is, simply Keynesianism is basically the idea that if you give people money, you just gave them money, and they can use that money to spend it on shit. The idea is deficit spending helps you recover from a recession, which is what we needed, which is what Obama did not do. We did not have an infrastructure program. We didn't have a jobs program. So let's see Paul Krugman. He argues for this kind of stuff because he has common fucking sense. He argues for this. Let's see him on this panel full of idiots, including George Will. George Will, the dumbest person in the world. Somehow people think he's the intellectual on the right. They're like, what makes George Will the intellectual on the right? He spews all the same talking points as fucking Stuart Varney or anyone else. Oh, he has glasses. They also think Stuart Varney's an intellectual because he has a British accent. Cut Social Security, privatize everything and cut all services to the poor. Super smart, he has glasses. No, George Will. A little bit of a side note, but this is just like giving you context for Paul Krugman and kind of the rot on the left that kind of has taken over about half of the left. Let's listen.
The big overarching theme here obviously is also to get the economy back on track and to improve this really drastically weak.
This vapid bitch.
So how is that going to happen?
You give people fucking money. That's what didn't happen in Greece. That's why Greece sucks, because they did austerity. Oh, Greece is having a recession? Should we give them money so they can spend it in their economy to get it moving? No. Give them no money. It'll all work out. Yeah, that really worked out for fucking Herbert Hoover. That really worked out for Hoover, because everyone loves Hoover. Everyone hates FDR. No one wanted to re-elect FDR. That's why they had to invent term limits for FDR, because that's how much people like Keynesian economics. It's simple. Herbert Hoover was a failure. Greece is a failure. There's no successful right-wing government anywhere. The United States does not count as successful because we're the richest fucking country in the world with some of the greatest income disparity in the world, besides fucking Qatar. And I don't want to hold myself up to the standard of Qatar, who uses slave labor. Okay? Getting a little bit off track. But I'm pointing out that Paul Krugman is on the left, so he's within my realm of respectability. Like, he gets economics. Let's listen a little bit more.
I mean, my first best guess, my maximum likelihood estimate to where my academic hat is, it won't happen. Not for years and years to come. No one is discussing the kinds of policies that might make it happen. We're waiting for the economy to heal itself, which if it's doing, is doing very slowly.
Even in this situation, are there things that could be done?
Yeah, he basically just said what I said. No one is discussing what actually needs to be done. He goes on to talk about infrastructure. And that's what actually needs to be done in a recession. He says the textbook answer, you spend during the deficit and you cut later to help your books. Because having a reasonable deficit does help with your credit rating. Paul Krugman argues that the credit rating organizations aren't important. I argue that they are important because the credit in your dollar is what I'm not a Nobel Prize winning economist, so he's smarter than me on this, but I argue that the credit rating agencies are massively important. People like George will argue that we don't have to pay off our debt. People like Donald Trump argue that we can pay half the debt and make a deal. I know that would crash our currency. I know that would destroy our credit. Even if it's short term, that would be a disaster. So credit is important. I disagree with him on that. My point is, he's a rational person. He's not an idiot, Paul Krugman. I don't know what the fuck is up with him, but oh my god. Let's get into Paul Krugman's Twitter. Dun dun dun. So yeah. But so there's a lot of back and forth about why the Trump presidency happened, but it's an argument no one will win. And he goes on to try to win it. What we can say is that one contributor was an incredible case of media failure. Media failure caused Clinton to lose. Yeah, the media wasn't on Clinton's side at all. Not on her side at all. Okay, which went far beyond false equivalence. So he's mad. Let's read more. For one thing, people say that HRC could have won it had she taken different policy positions. How is that supposed to have worked? Because when you take policy positions and talk about them, that gets people talking about that in the zeitgeist, in the cultural zeitgeist. If all the news about Hillary Clinton is about her email scandals, which are legitimate, and I covered them on my channel multiple times, it shows her dishonesty, corruption, and breaking the law by coordinating with her super PAC. So that's not just nothing, Paul Krugman. That deserves news, and if you don't cover that, you're not a fucking journalist. You're ridiculous if you don't cover that. But the idea that she wouldn't have won had she taken different policy positions. Your policy positions don't affect if you win at all. No one gives a shit if you're running as a lefty populist progressive. That's why Barack Obama didn't win. That's why Barack Obama got millions more votes than Hillary Clinton. Millions. So Obama in 2008 ran as a populist, ran with Bernie Sanders policies as a liar, as a fake Bernie Sanders, and he got more than 8 million more votes than Hillary. But according to Paul Krugman, had she taken different policy positions, how is that supposed to work? How is taking different policy positions supposed to work? Oh, it does work. It does work. People will say, but Omar, that was following a Republican president. Okay, in 2012, after the media hammered Obama over meaningless bullshit. Oh, he still got 66 million votes. Wow. Obama. But Paul Krugman, you're so right. Taking different policy positions will not affect anyone. This idea that neoliberals have, that it's not policy, we don't need to worry about policy, people don't care about that. And I go back to this all the time, but it's really like they think people are stupid. They don't want to get into... Paul Krugman argues policy all the time, like on panels like that, like I just showed you. Why, if you care so much about policy and you think it's interesting and you made it your whole life and write books about it, do you really think you're so much above the American people that they don't care about that? That they're just idiots, that they care about, the most recent scandal that happened. That does affect it because it shows what kind of politician you are. When the American people hear that Hillary has a public and private position, it confirms their worst suspicions. That's why the WikiLeaks are so important, Paul. It's calling them just bullshit. It's ridiculous. And let's scroll up a little bit more. The news media devoted almost no time to policy and literally zero to the most important issue, climate. How could policy have mattered? Hillary Clinton is not necessarily the most progressive person on climate. And if the media were to highlight her as a champion against climate change, they'd be full of shit. They would be forced to ask her. The reason climate change wasn't covered as much is because CNN is the Clinton news network. No one on CNN is going to ask Clinton about the Dakota Access Pipeline because that's rude. They know that that's an awkward answer for her to give because because Clinton has massive fossil fuel donors. And if she were to give the wrong answer, it makes it seem like she doesn't give a shit about Native Americans and that she only cares about fossil fuel profits. The truth. That's the truth. But if she gives an answer that's too populist, she could piss off her donors. And so these donors give her money to run ads on CNN. And that's why CNN loves her. That's why MSNBC loves her. Fox News obviously hates her, but they're Fox fucking News. They were biased. It's not like they were mega biased towards Trump. They favor the establishment. Stuart Varney doesn't like Trump. He thinks that he's vulgar, mate. We need someone who's more down the line normal. Someone who's just pushes horrible policies, but doesn't seem like as much of an asshole. So Fox News, the new leader, the new journalist of Fox News, Megyn Kelly, does her faux outrage against Trump all the time over his non-scandals. They cover that shit all the time. The whole controversy between Trump and Megyn Kelly, calling her like talking about her period, which for some reason is a huge issue to people. That was all over the news. So Trump scandals, the idea that Trump's scandals weren't covered. God. Maybe they should have covered climate change. That would have made Clinton look good. No, that would have made her look horrible. And that's why all these factors that you're trying to blame. There's a lot of argument about what happened and no one's going to win. No, the people who won, Paul, are the people who say it's Hillary's fault. It's Hillary's fault that she lost. Paul, it's Hillary's fault. It's that fucking simple. You can go into all the details. She promoted Trump in the primaries because she knew that she's a weak candidate and he's the only one she could win. So she made the stakes Trump or her. She set up that position. She is the one that set up the private email and ran even after her staffers told her that the emails could be an issue. She sent Chelsea Clinton to Morocco when Robbie Mook told her that this could look bad. It's pay for play, and people will understand that that's pay for play. You already have a bad name for that with the Clinton Foundation. All these scandals that were in the WikiLeaks, apparently no one should care about that, and the media is biased for covering them. They didn't cover them, Paul. They didn't cover them. The media is biased towards Hillary Clinton, and when you look at polls, the vast majority of the American people say the media is biased towards Hillary Clinton because that's true. She's the establishment. She runs the most ads, and that's where they get their fucking money. The only way that they're biased against Trump is so far that they can make money off of him. They were biased the media propped Trump up in the primaries along with Hillary Clinton because they make money off of that. People want to see, ooh, orange buffoon. Trump, oh my God, Trump draws eyes, okay? So they would just run Trump speeches unfact-checked. They wouldn't fact-check Trump. They wouldn't fact-check Clinton. That's what the debates were famous for. No fact-checking. Let's just let the candidates go at it. So that Trump says this, Clinton says this. Who cares if they're both lying? Who cares if they're both fucking lying? The media should be objective. Jesus Christ, Paul Krugman. Why the fuck is Paul Krugman so stupid? How the fuck could he think that policies have nothing to do with who wins when this graph is readily available? What the fuck could be blinding Paul Krugman? Oh, that's what's blinding him. That's what causes neoliberalism. Oh, it's the fact that you have. I think that once you reach $500,000, you put the neo in front of your name. People who are true liberals who will go on and argue that, like, yeah, common sense. If we want to help the economy, we need to put more money in it. That's why it's called a recession. The economy gets smaller. How do you make the economy bigger? What does the economy run off of? I'll give you a hint. It's money. So he makes the obvious point on here, just like any fucking dipshit could, that if you give money to people, it's going to help the recession. But then he has to go on Twitter and make a fucking idiot of himself, blaming everyone but Hillary Clinton, and not understanding that there's problems with her candidacy. Not even looking at the electoral map that Trump won states that were devastated by NAFTA and ran ads talking about how NAFTA devastated those areas and talked to them about it, gave speeches at factories. All these heads of unions endorsing Clinton. No one realizes that the head of the union doesn't control what the people in the union households do in the voting booth. And by the way, Clinton lost the union household vote, which Obama won in massive numbers, both 2012 and 2008. But policy doesn't mean anything. Policy doesn't mean anything, does it? It doesn't matter that Clinton refused to put anti-TPP stuff in her platform. It doesn't matter that she doesn't even communicate a lie well enough that she's for the American people. Obama at least communicates his lies well. Clinton, just as a blatant liar, she'll come out and say, I'll do the TPP if it meets 3 conditions, but I'm against it, but I'm not going to put it in the platform that I'm against it. Hillary, no one buys that. And Paul Krugman, people realize that that's why this happened. Look at the numbers, you idiot. You're not an idiot, but you're not an idiot, but you got the 2.5 mil. You got the 2.5 mil. And all these problems facing the American people, you can't see them past the 2.5 mil. Paul Krugman. If there's any hope for the left, these people really need to come to their fucking senses. Paul, please go back to doing what you do best and just taking down Republicans. Stop making excuses for Hillary Clinton's horribleness. And I don't think he's ever gonna stop. I think it's buried so deep in his brain that the establishment Democrats are right, that there's no legitimate reason to be against him. He keeps repeating the mantra of, there's nothing in the WikiLeaks, there's nothing in the WikiLeaks, over and over again. Just like a right-winger. Jimmy Dore likes to point out that they're like right-wingers now. They're like saying, oh, there's no such thing as climate change, there's no such thing as global warming, closing my eyes, shutting my ears. Hillary Clinton didn't do pay-to-play with Morocco. The American people don't care about that. The American people don't care about all her scandals and how they imply policies that she's against climate change legislation and income inequality legislation and infrastructure spending. And oh wait, they do affect the numbers. Once again, Paul. But we go back to, there's a lot of anger back and forth about how this happened, and I understand the motivation, but this argument no one will win. I just won the argument, Paul. It's Hillary's fault. And all the people making excuses. Move on. We lost. It's obvious that who cares why? You can make all these excuses aren't going to make people like Hillary. If we run another neoliberal, do you think all these excuses are going to be like, oh, the American people heard all these neoliberals making excuses, so now we're going to vote for them, even though I lost my factory job and now I'm working at fucking Taco Bell. Even though my income has dropped by 100% and I'm on the shitty Obamacare bronze plan. What the fuck? The bronze plan? So if I get sick enough, then, oh, should have got the silver or gold plan. What the fuck is that? But yeah, it has nothing to do with policy. Paul Krugman. Jesus fucking Christ. I think I'm going to have to wrap up the video. Let me know if you like the new setup, if you can hear me well enough. I got the new iPhone 7, which I didn't realize until I bought it is a shitty iPhone that you can't listen to your headphones while you charge it. The innovators over at Silicon Valley didn't think of that, did they? They're like, let's innovate. Let's make it only one plug-in so that it's inconvenient. No, Silicon Valley, you're not innovative. You're just douchebags. And I wouldn't have bought the phone if I had realized quick enough what it was. But tell me if you like the audio. I know it has a good camera. I think this setup's a little bit better. It's more like an actual, like, real YouTuber, so you can see some stuff that I'm reading. But yeah, let me know if you like it by liking the video. Let me know if you dislike it by disliking the video, and don't do that. But let me know if you dislike it by leaving a fucking comment, and I'll read your stupid comment, and it'll probably give me a chuckle, and I might respond to it. But yeah, I love my viewers, so I said all the stuff: subscribe, comment, like, do all that shit. And I hope you guys had fun shitting on Paul Krugman today, because I know I did. But look at his stupid, smug face. Fuck you with your 2.5 mil, bitch. Peace out, everyone.